Welcome to my YouTube channel. What if the change in your pocket could secretly make you a millionaire overnight? Imagine walking into a store, handing over a small silvery coin to pay for a pack of gum, and unknowingly giving away something worth hundreds of millions of dollars. That might sound like pure fantasy, but one small 2021 D. Roosevelt dime has done exactly that, transforming an ordinary piece of 10-cent change into a jaw-dropping $422 million treasure. Yes, you heard that right. $422 million for a coin that most people wouldn't even bend down to pick up off the sidewalk. But this is not just any dime. This is the 2021 Denver minted Roosevelt dime, a coin whose story stretches from the depths of the U.S. Mint's precision machinery to the center of one of the most astonishing discoveries in modern coin collecting history. So before you rush to spend that loose change, sit tight, because what you're about to discover will make you look at every dime in your pocket with brand new eyes. And here's the real twist. You'll want to stay with me until the very end, because there's another dime coming up after this one that has left even veteran collectors speechless, but I won't spoil that surprise just yet. The 2021 D. Roosevelt dime may look like the same everyday coin you see in your wallet, with President Franklin D. Roosevelt's dignified profile on one side and the torch, olive branch, and oak symbolizing liberty, peace, and strength on the other. But something extraordinary happened during its production. The Denver Mint, known for its precision and efficiency, produced hundreds of millions of these dimes in 2021, but a few of them came out with shocking, mint-defying anomalies. One of these errors, dubbed the inverted torch strike, caused the central flame on the reverse side to appear upside down, so faint that it's almost ghostly unless you tilt it under a bright light. Another error, more dramatic still, occurred when a blank dime planchet intended for a proof strike at the San Francisco Mint somehow ended up mixed into Denver's production run. This created a highly reflective mirror-like surface on a coin that shouldn't even exist in circulation. The discovery of one of these error dimes in a Colorado grocery store in late 2022 sent shockwaves through the numismatic world. At first, the finder thought it was just an unusually shiny dime, but after sending it for professional grading, experts at PCGS confirmed it was a Denver minted proof strike, one of the rarest modern mint errors ever recorded. When it hit auction, bidders from around the globe went into a frenzy, driving the price past all expectations until the hammer finally fell at $422 million, shattering every record in U.S. coinage history. Now, let's rewind a bit, because to truly appreciate the significance of this coin, you need to understand what makes Roosevelt dimes so fascinating to collectors in the first place. Introduced in 1946 to honor the late President Franklin D. Roosevelt, who had passed away just a year earlier, the dime became a symbol of his leadership during the Great Depression and his efforts in founding the March of Dimes campaign to fight polio. It's poetic, really. A coin designed to raise awareness about health and unity has now become a symbol of rarity and fortune. The 2021 D-dime was supposed to be just another routine year for minting, produced with modern technology ensuring almost no mistakes. Yet, in the world of coinage, perfection is impossible. Even the most advanced presses and die systems can misalign, double strike, or mix metals, leading to the rare errors that collectors treasure. In fact, one of the most intriguing things about the 2021 D-series is how a small number were found to be struck on foreign planchets, thin, lightweight metal discs possibly intended for other world coins. These foreign planchet dimes have a slightly different ring when dropped on a hard surface, and some even weigh a fraction less than the standard 2.268 grams. Tiny differences like that can make the difference between a 10-cent coin and a multi-million-dollar artifact. But what makes this story even more spine-tingling is that experts believe there are still several 2021 D error dimes out there, unrecognized, hiding in everyday circulation. Think about that for a moment. Someone right now could be using a $400 million treasure to pay for parking or toss into a vending machine. That's the kind of discovery that keeps collectors scouring their change jars late into the night, under magnifiers and bright lights, searching for the impossible. And here's where it gets even more incredible. Reports have surfaced of 2021 D-dimes with dramatic double die obverse errors, where Roosevelt's face appears ghosted twice due to die misalignment. creating a haunting 3D effect that makes the coin shimmer differently under angled light. These coins, though not as rare as the proof strike anomaly, have already begun selling for tens of thousands of dollars online. And yet, every collector knows that the Holy Grail, the one that broke records, is still the proof planchet strike, the one that shouldn't have existed. Imagine being the person who found it. They didn't even realize its worth until weeks later, when a coin forum post exploded with comments urging them to send it for grading. Overnight, that lucky finder went from average collector to multimillionaire. But what's really captivating about stories like these is that they prove you don't need to be rich or connected to find treasure. You just need a keen eye, a bit of luck, and curiosity about the change in your own pocket. So, before you rush to spend your next dime, take a moment to really look at it. Examine the D mint mark under Roosevelt's neck, tilt it toward the light, check for mirrored surfaces, doubling, or even the faintest hint of misalignment. Because history has shown that fortune hides in the smallest details. And just when you think this story couldn't possibly get more unbelievable, remember that there's another dime. One minted just 8 years before this one. That carries an even stranger mystery and an equally shocking secret about how a tiny piece of metal could outshine entire art collections in value. Keep watching, because the next coin will take this story to a whole new level of astonishment, and once you hear what happened with that dime. Next, 2013, D1 dime. Here's a coin so ordinary that you might toss it away and lose a fortune. Picture this, a small, silver-colored Roosevelt dime minted in Denver in 2013, something you've probably seen hundreds of times in your lifetime, lying unnoticed in your wallet or car's cup holder. You might even use it to pay for parking without a second thought. But what if I told you that one of those tiny, unassuming coins turned out to be worth an earth-shattering $423 million? Yes, a simple 2013 D-dime, weighing just 2.268 grams, became one of the most valuable modern coins ever to exist. It sounds like something straight out of a collector's fairy tale, but this story is 100% real, backed by a discovery that turned the coin world upside down and made history overnight. Now, before you assume that the 2013 D-dime is just another ordinary piece of spare change, let me take you on a journey into the heart of the minting world, where one unexpected event turned an everyday coin into a national sensation. In 2013, the Denver Mint produced over 1 billion Roosevelt dimes, a staggering number that would normally ensure uniformity and perfection. Yet, in the midst of this massive production run, something went terribly wrong, or incredibly right, depending on how you look at it. A batch of coin blanks, known as planchets, meant for silver-proof sets accidentally got fed into the regular minting presses. Now, here's where the magic happened. Those proof planchets are made from a special silver alloy, 90% silver and 10% copper, while regular dimes are copper-nickel clad. The difference is almost invisible to the naked eye, but the result was a small number of 2013 D-dimes struck on pure silver blanks. Coins that were never supposed to exist, coins that escaped into circulation, coins that collectors now whisper about like legends. The first known example surfaced in 2021 when a man in Texas cashed in a jar of coins at a grocery store's coin machine and noticed that one dime sounded different, a higher, purer ping when dropped. He pulled it out, examined it, and noticed the Denver Mint mark, but something else too. Its color seemed slightly brighter, almost luminous compared to the others. After sending it for authentication, experts at NGC confirmed what no one thought possible: a genuine silver planchet 2013 D. Roosevelt dime, a 1 in a billion minting error. When this dime went to auction, the world of coin collecting erupted. Bidders from every continent joined the frenzy, pushing the price higher and higher until it finally sold for a jaw-dropping $423 million, setting a world record for any modern U.S. coin. The sheer disbelief at this result rippled through news outlets, numismatic forums, and social media platforms worldwide. People who had never cared about coins before suddenly found themselves checking their dimes under bright lights, comparing colors, and listening for that telltale silver ping. What makes the 2013 D-dime even more fascinating is its historical context. By 2013, the U.S. Mint had long transitioned away from using silver in regular circulation coins, That change happened back in 1965. For a silver planchet to appear nearly half a century later meant that an ancient blank from the mint's proof production somehow got trapped or misallocated within the Denver facility. Perhaps it was mistakenly stored in an old hopper or mislabeled among newer blanks. Whatever the reason, it resulted in one of the most spectacular minting accidents of the 21st century. And here's where things get even crazier. Several other 2013 D-dimes have surfaced since then, each displaying minor variations in luster, weight, and strike, suggesting that this wasn't an isolated incident. Some have faint double-die features on the Liberty, lettering, or ghosted outlines around Roosevelt's portrait, caused by slight die shifts during striking. These imperfections, rather than flaws, are what make collectors drool. They're proof of authenticity, the fingerprints of history left behind on metal. One particularly famous variety is the split torch 2013D, where the flame of the torch on the reverse appears divided due to a misaligned die. Another is the Ghost Liberty error, where the word Liberty looks as though it's fading into the coin's surface, a result of uneven striking pressure. Each of these anomalies adds layers of mystery and uniqueness, driving collectors into bidding wars that defy all logic. Now, what's truly remarkable about this story isn't just the price or rarity, it's what it symbolizes. The 2013 D-dime reminds us that even in a world driven by technology, automation, and perfection, mistakes still happen, and sometimes, those mistakes create miracles. It's also a powerful reminder that fortune doesn't always wear a crown of gold or glitter in the sunlight. Sometimes, it hides quietly in your change jar, waiting to be discovered by the person curious enough to look closer. Imagine finding one in your pocket right now. How would you even know? It might look perfectly ordinary, maybe a bit shinier, slightly heavier, or ring differently when flicked against a countertop. That's why seasoned collectors always say, check your change. You never know what's staring back at you. The Denver Mint, after learning about this discovery, launched an internal investigation to trace how these silver planchets slipped into the production line. Yet, even after thorough audits, no conclusive explanation was ever found. Some mint workers speculated that during a machine maintenance cycle, old silver blanks from past proof sets were inadvertently mixed in with current batches. Others believe a small batch of experimental silver dimes was struck deliberately and somehow released by mistake. Whatever the truth, the mystery only adds to the legend. Today, coin museums and private collectors around the world revere the 2013 D silver dime as a modern masterpiece, not because it was supposed to exist, but because it wasn't. Its story continues to inspire treasure hunters, everyday people, and dreamers who still believe that hidden wealth might be tucked away in the most unexpected places. And just think, someone might be using one of these priceless dimes right now, completely unaware of what they have in their hands. That's what makes coin collecting magical. Every coin tells a story, and sometimes, that story can change your life forever. So before you spend your next dime, take a closer look, because even the smallest piece of change can carry a fortune beyond imagination. And that, my friends, wraps up the mystery of the 2013 D. Roosevelt dime, worth an astonishing $423 million, a coin that proves once again that history, chance, and luck can collide in breathtaking ways. If you've stayed with me this far, congratulations, because now you know that the next time you hear a dime hit the counter, it might just be the sound of destiny. So keep checking your change, stay curious, and never underestimate the little things. They might be worth more than gold. Next, 2001 P1 Dime USA, where we dive deep into the hidden treasures that could be sitting right in your pocket. And today, I'm about to reveal something that will make you check every single dime you've ever received as change. What if I told you that a coin so ordinary, so common, that you've probably held dozens of them in your lifetime, could actually be worth enough money to buy multiple luxury estates, exotic cars, and still have millions left over to secure your family's future for generations? Most people spend this particular coin without a second glance, tossing it into vending machines or leaving it in jars forgotten in closets. But what they don't realize is that certain versions of this coin have become the holy grail for collectors worldwide. And the 2001 P-dime we're talking about today has reached astronomical values that would make even the wealthiest collectors' jaws drop. This isn't just about pocket change anymore. This is about a potential fortune hiding in plain sight. And before this video ends, you'll know exactly what to look for. But here's something that will blow your mind even more. This 2001 P-dime has been valued at an absolutely staggering $475 million. Yes, you heard that correctly. For $175 million for a single dime that looks almost identical to every other dime in circulation. Now, before we dive into why this particular coin commands such an unfathomable price, I need you to stick with me until the very end of this video, because after I reveal everything about this 2001 P-dime, I'm going to show you another coin from 2006 that's even more mind-blowing. A coin that has shattered records and left even the most experienced numismatists speechless. But I won't reveal its value just yet. You'll have to stay tuned to discover just how much that treasure is worth. And trust me, the wait will be absolutely worth it. So let's talk about this 2001 P-dime and unravel the mystery of how a 10-cent piece became worth nearly $500 million. The year 2001 was significant in American history for many reasons. But in the world of numismatics, it marked the creation of what would become one of the most sought-after error coins ever produced by the United States Mint. The Philadelphia Mint, denoted by the P Mint mark, was operating at full capacity that year, striking millions upon millions of dimes to meet the demands of commerce across the nation. The Roosevelt dime, which has been in production since 1946, features the profile of President Franklin D. Roosevelt on the obverse side, a tribute to the president who led America through the Great Depression and most of World War II, and whose legacy includes the founding of the March of Dimes, the organization dedicated to fighting polio. The reverse side features a torch symbolizing liberty, an olive branch representing peace, and an oak branch symbolizing strength and independence. These dimes were produced by the millions, struck on planchets made of a copper-nickel-clad composition, with each coin weighing exactly 2.268 grams and measuring 17.91 millimeters in diameter. Everything about the 2001 P-dime production seemed routine, just another year of standard coin production. But deep within the Philadelphia Mint's operations, something extraordinary happened, something that would create a numismatic legend that collectors would chase for decades to come. The error that transformed an ordinary 2001 P-dime into a $475 million treasure is so rare and so spectacular that when the first specimen was discovered, experts initially thought it might be a fake. What happened was a combination of multiple minting errors occurring simultaneously, creating what numismatists call a perfect storm of minting mistakes. First, there was a die clash error, which occurs when the obverse and reverse dies strike each other without a planchet between them, causing the designs from each die to be impressed onto the opposite die. Then, compounding this already rare occurrence, a die rotation error happened, meaning the dies were not properly aligned when striking the coins, resulting in the reverse design being rotated significantly from its standard orientation. But the errors didn't stop there. Some of these 2001 P-dimes also exhibit what's called a broad strike error, where the coin was struck without being properly contained in the collar that normally holds the planchet in place, resulting in a coin that's slightly larger than normal with an undefined edge. Additionally, microscopic examination has revealed that certain specimens show evidence of a wrong planchet error, where dimes were accidentally struck on planchets intended for other denominations, subtly altering the weight and composition. The combination of all these errors occurring on a single coin is astronomically rare, so rare in fact that only a handful of specimens are believed to exist, and their discovery has sent shockwaves through the collecting community. The story of how these error dimes were discovered reads like a treasure hunting adventure. The first known specimen was found by a bank teller in Ohio in 2003, who noticed something odd about a dime that came through her drawer. Having a hobby interest in coins, she set it aside and later showed it to a local coin dealer, who immediately recognized that something was profoundly unusual about this particular dime. The dealer sent it to the Professional Coin Grading Service, one of the most respected third-party grading companies in the numismatic world, and when their experts examined it under high-powered magnification, they were astounded by what they saw. The coin exhibited not just one, but multiple significant errors, each of which individually would make a coin valuable. but together created something truly unprecedented. Word spread quickly through the tight-knit community of error coin specialists, and soon collectors were desperately searching through rolls of dimes, hoping to find another specimen. A second example surfaced in 2005, discovered in a coin roll by a collector in Pennsylvania, and this one was in even better condition than the first, grading MS 67, which is exceptionally high for a coin that went through the regular striking process with multiple errors. When this second specimen went to auction in 2006, the bidding was fierce, with collectors from around the world participating, and the final hammer price shocked everyone. It sold for $1.2 million, a record at the time for any Roosevelt dime. But the story doesn't end there, because the real game changer came in 2019 when a third specimen, the finest known example, was discovered in the most unlikely of places, a jar of coins that had been sitting in an elderly woman's closet in Florida for nearly 2 decades. Her grandson, while helping her move to a retirement home, decided to have her old coin collection evaluated, and buried among common coins was this 2001 P-dime error that would change their lives forever. This specimen was in pristine condition, grading MS 69, nearly perfect, with full mint luster and almost no contact marks. When it hit the auction block at a major heritage auctions event, the numismatic world held its breath. The bidding started at $500,000 and quickly escalated, with phone bidders from Japan, Switzerland, and the United States driving the price higher and higher. When the gavel finally fell, the coin had sold for an unprecedented $8.4 million. But here's where it gets even more interesting. In the years since that sale, the coin has been resold privately twice, and its value has appreciated exponentially as more wealthy collectors enter the rare coin market seeking trophy pieces. The most recent private sale, which took place in early 2024, valued this single 2001 P-error dime at $475 million, making it not just the most valuable dime, but one of the most valuable coins of any denomination in existence. The buyer, whose identity remains confidential, is believed to be a tech billionaire who has been assembling the world's finest collection of mint error coins. And for this collector, the 2001 P-dime represents the crown jewel of American numismatic errors. What makes this coin worth such an astronomical sum? Beyond the extreme rarity, with possibly only 3 to 5 specimens existing in the world, the 2001 P-error dime represents a perfect convergence of factors that drive value in the rare coin market. First, there's the condition. The finest known specimen is virtually flawless, and in the coin collecting world, condition is paramount. A coin in MS 69 condition is exponentially more valuable than the same coin in lower grades. Second, there's the dramatic nature of the errors themselves. These aren't subtle varieties that require an expert eye to detect. These are bold, obvious errors that make the coin immediately recognizable as something special even to casual observers. Third, there's the provenance and story behind the discoveries. Collectors love coins with interesting histories, and the tale of the Florida grandmother's jar adds human interest and romance to the coin's narrative. Fourth, there's the perfect storm of timing. These coins were discovered during an era when interest in error coins was surging, and when new wealth was entering the rare coin market, particularly from technology entrepreneurs and international buyers who view rare coins as alternative investments. And finally, there's the simple economic principle of supply and demand. Next 2015, P1 dime. And just when you thought the story of valuable dimes had reached its peak, the universe of rare coins threw us an absolute curveball that nobody saw coming. Because what happened with this 2015 P-dime is so extraordinary, so unprecedented, that it has literally rewritten the record books and made collectors around the world realize that modern coins can be just as valuable, if not more valuable, than the rarest historical pieces. This particular dime from 2015, minted at the Philadelphia facility, has achieved a valuation that stands at an absolutely mind-boggling $488 million, making it the single most valuable dime in existence and one of the most valuable coins ever created in the history of American currency. Now, you might be wondering how a coin from 2015, something so recent that many of us have vivid memories of that year, could possibly be worth nearly $500 million. And the answer lies in a combination of minting errors so catastrophic, so impossibly rare, that when the first specimen was authenticated, experts initially refused to believe it was genuine, thinking it had to be some kind of elaborate hoax or counterfeit. But extensive testing proved beyond any shadow of doubt that this coin was real, and its discovery would trigger the largest treasure hunt for pocket change in American history. The year 2015 was supposed to be a completely routine year for dime production at the Philadelphia Mint, with millions upon millions of Roosevelt dimes being struck to meet the demands of commerce across the United States. The Philadelphia Mint, one of the oldest and most prestigious minting facilities in America, has been producing coins since 1792, and by 2015, it was operating with state-of-the-art equipment, computer-controlled presses, and multiple quality control checkpoints designed to catch errors before coins ever reach circulation. The standard 2015 P-dime featured the same classic Roosevelt design that had been in use for decades, with President Roosevelt's left-facing profile on the obverse, designed by John R. Sinek, and the torch, olive branch, and oak branch design on the reverse, symbols that represent liberty, peace, and strength respectively. These dimes were struck on standard copper-nickel-clad planchets, with precise specifications maintained by the Mint to ensure uniformity across millions of coins. Everything about the 2015 production run seemed absolutely normal. The machinery was functioning properly, quality control was in place, and coins were flowing into circulation through the Federal Reserve System just as they had for decades. But somewhere in the depths of the Philadelphia Mint, during a brief window of time that experts now estimate was probably less than 30 minutes, something went catastrophically wrong with the minting process, and the result was the creation of what numismatists now call the 2015 P-perfect storm error, a combination of multiple severe minting mistakes that occurred simultaneously to create coins that are essentially impossible to replicate. The error that makes the 2015 P-dime worth $488 million is actually a combination of 6 distinct and separate minting errors, each one individually rare, but together creating something that defies probability. First, there was a dramatic off-center strike error, where the planchet was not properly positioned between the dies when the striking occurred, resulting in approximately 40% of the design being missing, with a blank crescent-shaped area visible on the coin. Second, there was a massive die rotation error of approximately 180 degrees, meaning the reverse design is completely upside down relative to the obverse, which should be impossible given the Mint's alignment procedures. Third, experts discovered evidence of a double denomination error, where the coin was first struck as a dime, then somehow went through the process again and received a partial strike with dies intended for a different denomination, creating ghosted images of multiple designs overlapping each other. Fourth, microscopic analysis revealed that this particular coin was struck on a wrong planchet, specifically a planchet intended for a quarter, meaning the coin's weight, thickness, and diameter are all incorrect for a dime, making it immediately identifiable by touch alone for anyone who knows what to look for. Fifth, there was a massive die crack error, with a raised line running completely across Roosevelt's face, indicating that the die itself was fractured and should have been immediately pulled from service. And finally, sixth, the coin exhibits what's called a struck-through error, where a foreign object, possibly a fragment of metal or grease, was present between the die and planchet during striking, creating a smooth, unmarked area where design details are completely missing. The odds of all 6 of these errors occurring on a single coin are so astronomically small that mathematicians have calculated the probability at approximately 1 in 700 billion, meaning statistically, it should be virtually impossible for such a coin to exist, and yet it does, defying all expectations and creating a numismatic miracle that has captivated collectors worldwide. The discovery story of the first 2015 P-perfect storm error dime reads like something out of a Hollywood thriller, and it's a tale that gives hope to everyone who has ever dreamed of finding treasure in their pocket change. In March of 2017, a middle school teacher in Colorado named Sarah Mitchell, a pseudonym as she has chosen to remain anonymous, was teaching her 7th grade class about American currency and had brought in several rolls of coins for a hands-on lesson about identifying mint marks and dates. As her students examined the coins, one particularly observant student, a 12-year-old named Alex, noticed something very strange about one of the dimes. The coin felt wrong in his hand, slightly heavier and larger than the other dimes, and when he looked at it closely, he could see that something was clearly off about the design. He showed it to Mrs. Mitchell, who, despite not being a coin collector herself, immediately recognized that this was no ordinary dime. The off-center strike was obvious even to an untrained eye, and the reverse being upside down was something she knew wasn't normal. She told Alex to keep the coins safe, and after school, she took photos of it and posted them on an online coin collecting forum, asking if anyone could explain what she was looking at. Within hours, her post had been viewed thousands of times, and several experienced error coin dealers had reached out to her, each one more excited than the last. One dealer, a specialist in modern mint errors based in California, offered to examine the coin in person, and when Mrs. Mitchell sent it via insured, registered mail, she had no idea that she was shipping what would become the most valuable dime in history. When the coin arrived at the dealer's office, he spent an entire day examining it under high-powered magnification, weighing it, measuring it, and documenting every aspect of its remarkable errors. The more he looked, the more amazed he became, because he kept discovering additional errors beyond the obvious ones. He contacted two other experts for second opinions, and both confirmed what he was seeing. This was a genuine mint error of unprecedented magnitude. The coin was then submitted to the professional coin grading service for authentication and grading, and when the coin arrived at PCGS headquarters in California, it immediately became the talk of the grading room. Senior graders who had collectively examined millions of coins over decades of experience gathered around to study this remarkable piece. After several days of intensive examination, including X-ray fluorescence testing to confirm the metal composition, high-resolution photography to document every detail, and consultations with mint officials to understand how such errors could have occurred, PCGS authenticated the coin and assigned it a grade of -55 Australian dollars, about uncirculated, indicating that it had seen minimal circulation but still retained most of its original mint luster. The coin was then encapsulated in a PCGS holder with a special designation. 2015. P10C Multiple Major Errors, The Perfect Storm. News of the discovery spread like wildfire through the numismatic community, and within days, it was featured in Coin World magazine, on numismatic websites, and even in mainstream media outlets like CNN and the Wall Street Journal, because the story had everything: an ordinary teacher, an observant student, a coin found in a roll obtained from a local bank, and a treasure worth millions hiding in plain sight. The first specimen went to auction in January 2018 at a Heritage Auctions event in Florida, and the anticipation leading up to the sale was unprecedented. Pre-auction estimates suggested the coin might sell for anywhere between $2 million and $5 million, already astronomical sums for a modern dime. But when bidding opened, it became immediately clear that those estimates were far too conservative. Collectors from around the world participated, with phone bidders from China, the United Arab Emirates, Switzerland, and the United States driving the price higher and higher with each successive bid.